Confocal microscopy is a growing business, and Nikon's really quite keen to get itself a larger slice of this pie. So it has recently launched the A1R confocal microscope to augment and be a big daddy instrument to the existing C1, which is more of an entry-level device. So, what's so special about the A1? Well, in imaging, there's always a trade-off between speed and resolution, and the A1R claims the world's fastest 230 frames per second imaging, and Nikon makes a big deal of the clever optical path within the confocal system. It explains that the low incidence angle of the beam on the dichroic mirrors gives a 30% increase in fluorescence efficiency. Nikon will also tell you how the hexagonal pinholes it uses let through 30% more light than the square pinholes more commonly used in confocal microscopes. But for my money, the most interesting aspect of this new system is called Clem, Controlled Light Exposure Microscopy. See, the challenge in confocal microscopy today is live cell imaging, and this presents a basic problem. In order to see more detail, or to take more exposures, you have to throw more photons onto the subject. That's fine, except of course that photons are toxic to cells, and pretty soon you're destroying the sample instead of observing it. Clem, developed at the University of Amsterdam, gets around this apparently intractable problem by introducing a feedback loop into the illumination system. It monitors each individual pixel to switch off the excitation beam if there's no sample present, or when sufficient signal has already been received in order to acquire an image. The effect of all this is to reduce the overall illumination on most of the subject and drastically reduce the photobleaching and the phototoxicity, as these comparative time-lapse images show. These are tobacco cells. On the left, conventional confocal. On the right, much longer lived with Clem. Even more dramatically, these HeLa cells clearly demonstrate earlier distress and death in the non-Clem sample on the left, while with Clem they live much longer. These movies, incidentally, were given to Laboratory Talk Television by Eric Manders at the University of Amsterdam, who has developed the Clem system and has worked closely with Nikon on that. Oh, by the way, it's worth noting that there are two completely separate technologies called Clem. This one is controlled light exposure microscopy. It's to do with delaying cell death in a confocal setup. The other, Clem, is correlative light and electron microscopy. That's to do with using both optical and electron beams to improve imaging. Easy to get them confused, they are different.